سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Yes, that's right. Ultra Kayfabe declassified transmission here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen. We had to get rid of Stevie, and we brought in another heavy hitter, the sharpshooter himself, Mr. Digital, Bobby Digital, actually the McAfee, the man who's popping up all over on if you didn't renew your subscription, infidel. So hear me now as we roll out live at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen with the man, John McAfee. YOLO!
Yeah, you're pretty damn good, my friend.
Thank you very much, sir. I say we're honored to have you here and you giving us time, but you may regret it because you may not have ever experienced a platform like this one, sir.
He's going, what's going on here?
Trust me, I'm quite at home here.
All right.
If I come, I'll let you know. It hasn't happened. So
we love it because you are an eccentric guy and who's accomplished so much. And we are 3 of the 4 professional wrestlers that are the Conspiracy Horsemen. And, we're ostracized for years as free thinkers and truth seekers. And we came together, and now the internet has given us a platform to appeal to people in a free medium. And I was so happy, when our fans reached out and said that you were taking interviews from like-minded people, individuals. And then your wife responded saying, here's the criteria, and we pretty much nailed everything that you're looking to do, and except for we just had to install Zoom, which we're curious if that is your new platform that you're promoting as well, because it seems to be working
it's
well.
not. Trust me, I'm not promoting any platform. Okay. It's simply, for me, it is the simplest. All I have to do is I press the link that you sent Janice, and you and I are talking.
Yes.
With many of the other platforms, I have to do shit. And trust me, there are dozens of them out there. And so different ones have to do different shit. Push this button first, take the code that they sent me in the email, plug it in here. I'm 74 fucking years old. There's only so much more I can shove in this tiny mind of mine. And stuff like that, I'm afraid I have no time for. My apologies.
You're working smart. Not hard. Big difference.
There's 3 of you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Me? Who are you talking to me? You talking to the other guy?
No, I'm talking to the guy who said me, of course.
Well, my name is the Greek God Papadon. That's my wrestling moniker. You can call me Jimmy, which is my real name. So you're John, I'm Jimmy. And we're here to have a discussion about whatever we want to talk about because it's a free world and we run it. So that's it.
And we got the giant.
I think I'm going to call you Zatoichi.
Zatoichi? Yeah. Why is that?
You just look like a Zatoichi. But I mean, you said I could call you Jim, so that would be my second best. And by the way, Jim, what is the painting behind the right upper part of your head?
Right here?
No, the big one up there.
That's Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. All I could see is his legs.
Thank you. No worries. I'm a big comic book, Star Wars, sci-fi geek as well.
That's pretty damn clear from your bookshelf and all the accoutrements of your location.
Yeah. Well, I'm home, so I'm working from home today, and figured why not.
And you're also on with our resident giant, the 7-footer Big Sal, who is in his disclosed location at CERN, working on some new Mandela effects. So welcome.
All right then.
How are you, sir?
Disclosed location. I wish I had that luxury, my friend. I am.
Yeah, except nobody's looking for me, so that's fine.
You don't know. You do not fucking know. I am, believe me, one of the top 10 cybersecurity people on this planet. And I got here by understanding the opposition. That is, the people trying to break in, trying to gather information, trying to sniff out this or that. So I promise you, my friend, you're being watched, if not by
I currently work for a Joe security company here. So
okay, so right, you're not being watched by a human, but you're being watched by an AI that's looking for keywords like bomb, terrorist, John McAfee, and unfortunately, you're one now. So,
Well, if you wanted to roll with the heavy hitters, my character is pretty much Bin Laden, Saddam, Hitler, and George Bush all rolled into one. So I pressed that button, as you heard earlier. So you're right in America's most banned list, no doubt. As we wear that moniker well.
There are a few people more banned than I am. I mean, I am reduced to communicating from a Faraday cage, for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Where, we cannot carry telephone. We can't carry smartphones with us or any communication device. We can't carry anything with us outside of this room. Otherwise, we will be located. Inside this room, I am one of the greatest architects of security, and I need to be very secure now in my person. I promise you, no sorry ass is going to find me.
Well, we just saw Edward Snowden again do kind of a little bit more of a soapbox preach down of, these apps that have everything open, and then even shows like Silicon Valley that are reinforcing it. Yes, just to make it normal through Operation Mockingbird or whatever they want to do. But the truth starts to fall down around them. As they try to push 5G through with no FCC regulation.
Yes.
So I know that's a big part of
what you may
doing.
think of Snowden. He's telling the truth technologically.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. I haven't caught him in a single diversion from it. So you must believe me. You guys don't have any fucking privacy. Everything is being watched. What happened? Sometime between 1960 and today, our covert agencies shifted from, God damn, I think that son of a bitch is doing something illegal. Let's go get some court orders and listen to his phone conversations and watch his emails, Shifted from that to going, God damn, you know what? We have everything in our fingers. Why don't we just watch everybody, let the AI do it, watch everybody, and if something crops up, we're going to know it in advance. So what that means is, listen, you're a citizen of the United States. However, because you're a fucking citizen, we can't trust your sorry ass. So we're going to watch you just in case you're a bad man. And if you're not, well, that's very cool with us, but we're still going to watch you. A shift happened from a sane society that is protecting its citizens from criminals to an insane society where our government views its citizens as the greatest fucking threat.
Is that a Cold War era move that turned into a corporatocracy to be able to sell that information to monetize off it once there really was no boogeyman?
If you want to pinpoint, if you want to throw a dart at the very dead black center, it's a 3-letter organization called the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not think the CIA rules this fucking world, then you have had no experience with it like Janice and I have. I mean, 4.5 months ago, or 4 months ago, we were in Cuba, had been there for 2 months. I'm getting along with everything. The government sends soldiers to tell Janice and I, show up at this location at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. This is Cuba, for fuck's sake. We show up. General takes me aside, says, Mr. McAfee, we know you're here to help. However, the U.S. government, meaning the CIA, has requested that we return you to America. Said, that's not what we want to do, Mr. McAfee. It would help us tremendously if you would leave Cuba within 72 hours. I was in utter fucking shock. Janice was with me. She was in utter shock. My staff was in utter shock. But 72 hours later, we were gone. When we came into Cuba, we had weapons. We turned them over to the government. Cuba's one of those few countries that do not let you keep your weapons on your yacht. Turned our weapons over. When we left Cuba, they gave them back to us. We headed to the Dominican Republic. We arrived 4.5 days later, 4.5 days at sea, into the Dominican Republic. And rather than being met by immigration and customs, we were met by internal special fucking forces that surrounded our boat with fully automatic weapons.
This is 3 months ago?
Pardon?
This is
and then 4 days later, let us out of jail. And by the way, Dominican Republic jails are not the nicest thing in the world. I don't recommend it. If you're going to go jail, don't go there. But in any case, so we get out of jail. I know what's going on. They bring us to the head of immigration and say, we are deporting you and your wife back to America. I go, back to America? I didn't come here from America. I came from Cuba. And prior to that, I came from the Bahamas. How can you send me to America? It doesn't matter, Miss McAfee. That's what has to be done. At that point, I knew, God damn it. My escape from Cuba was merely into the hands of the CIA. The CIA does not control Cuba, but it sure as fuck controls the Dominican Republic. So fortunately, I had 2 lawyers. I took them aside and said, here's what I want. File a brief with the courts. And the brief should say, I cannot be deported or moved out of the Dominican Republic until I have my day in court. They had to say, yes, this is national news by now that we've been arrested. And so the court did say yes. However, and Janice was with me during this time, the lawyer said, it will take a couple of hours, Mr. McAfee. And I had already grabbed Janice and sent her on the way to the airport and were about to take me. I said, well, 2 hours. Don't worry about it. Just do it. And they left. I fell on my face in a pretend stroke, went into convulsions. I told Janice about this before I did it. I said, Janice, don't panic. Everything's under control. Then I fell on my face. She had not been taken out exactly. She came rushing over. I was in convulsions on the floor. The only problem I had, there was a real fucking doctor at immigration. What are they doing? And he's looking at me. He's looking at me like a fucking hog leg. I don't know. This doesn't look exactly right. However, nevertheless, I'm convulsing and screaming and carrying on. So they take me to the hospital. Now, I fucking won. Half an hour to the hospital, half an hour to check my ass in, half an hour to check to see if anything's truly wrong with me, and a half an hour to kick my ass out. Before they kicked my ass out, the lawyers came in with their paper saying you may not send Mr. McAfee or his wife anywhere until the Supreme Court of the Dominican Republic has heard his case. Well, fuck me, we won. Because had we gone to court, the Dominican Republic would have collapsed its government. They broke every international law. They did not allow us to go to customs or immigration. Special forces took us, charged us with possession of firearms. Well, of course, on the goddamn boat. Yes, did you declare them in customs? No, you never let us talk to customs, you pricks. So this is the truth. This is the CIA in operation. And until I want to thank God for separation of powers, because in the Dominican Republic, still it's on the books as a true democracy with separation of powers. That means one of those powers is the judiciary. And you can count on those motherfuckers hating everybody else. Everybody else makes all the money. Everybody else has all the fun. And you got to sit on a goddamn court bench and wear black and white 24 hours a goddamn day. So that's not a good job. So having a judiciary, I knew as soon as my appeal, or my appeal to the courts, to hey, I have a grievance. I'd like to hear it in the courts. The grievance happened in the Dominican Republic. I'm an American citizen. It's an international crime here. I want my day in court. They could not deny it. Now, Janice, come here.
Yeah, please.
Please, God.
Thank you, Janice, so much for all your correspondence. I appreciate you setting all this up.
And how did you feel when I fell over at immigrations and went into convulsions?
No, he had already came over and told me, don't be worried. I have to take care of something. So I didn't even actually see him fall over, right? And so, So I didn't see when it happened. I just heard the noise, and so I'm trying my hardest to like get some tears going,
Sure.
and they wouldn't come.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying if you guys want to come on any wrestling show, if you want to come to,
He's being over me, holding my hand and trying to cry.
if you want to come to any wrestling show, we'll put you on. You can do that spot, and then when the good guy turns his back, you hit him in the nuts from behind.
I was faking a stroke, okay?
Yeah.
The hardest thing for a doctor to say, no, that's not a stroke without diagnostics. So that's why I chose the stroke. So I didn't know Janice. I didn't know my security. I didn't know. When Janice came over, I was going, who are you? Oh, God, help! No, please. I didn't know anybody, even though I've been they'd all been processing my sorry ass for 3 hours. I didn't know my staff that was there with us. They were also being deported. We took care of everybody. Everybody got home fine. So I was pretending not to know anybody. And
let me just say, I appreciate the fact that you two pulled that off, because my wife would have blown up the spot and been like, you're fine, get up. Just get up. Stop being a
Get up and get up.
well, Janice has been with me for 7 years.
Oh, kudos to Janice, man.
She knew that that would be the wrong thing to say for the both of us. Right.
Do you have a safe word that's like stroke protocol?
My poor husband. Oh, the old man, he needs my help. That's what she went with me to the hospital. Did you know?
No. Actually, because they were taking me to the, they were deporting me because after he was not feeling well, right? After he fell on the floor, the head guy, he's talking to our lawyer, and he's, translating something for me. And so he was saying that he wanted me to leave John. And so I said, no. I was like, no, I'm not going. No. So he didn't speak English, but all he saw was my face. And he's like, fuck that. Get that bitch out of here.
Janice is a boss bitch.
Yeah.
She's got more balls than
did you go
anybody I know. All right. However, in situations like this where she should have gone, oh, I'm sorry.
Fuck that.
No,
Janice, I think Janice missed the spot on.
Earlier,
oh, sorry.
A few nights earlier, when they get us to the jail, it's 11:30 at night. Mm-hmm. And this jail is literally in a fucking junkyard. I mean, there's junk buses and things around the jail, right?
They had the men set up in an old barn. It was crazy.
Yeah, and with iron bars, no glass. I mean, trust me, it's not a fun place. But anyway, 11:30 at night, I had $85,000 in U.S. on me in cash. All right.
That they made him count.
That they made it. Now here, I've been through this shit. This is not new for me. Yeah. I knew one thing only: attitude is all that fucking matters. And I let them know, this is my goddamn money. I mean, I'm happy to count it for you. This is fucking mine. Did I not say that? Yeah. I kept saying it. You guys, this is mine. Okay, so why? Because most tourists and most people are terrified. Oh my God, and they just take your money and, let you go. Well, I'm not one of those tourists. In any case, so here we are, 11:30 at night in a fucking junkyard on a deserted goddamn road, surrounded by ugly-looking soldiers, heavily fucking armed. And it's me, Janice, my head of security, big-ass Bahamian guy, Julio, and my video, and Robert King, the guy who's been chronicling my life for a year and a half now. So we're all there. They bring a fucking cardboard box in the middle of this street with, creaky,
under the street lamp.
Under a street lamp.
And
had me count out $85,000 in U.S. cash on this fucking box. And so I counted it. I put it back in a stack. And they said, we have to have it. I said, you give me a fucking receipt. The captain goes in and he writes me a receipt for $85,000, and he signs it in front of everybody. I put the receipt in my pocket. He puts the cash. Where did he put that fucking cash? He took it to somewhere. Okay. However, I let him know, dude. It's kind of like, listen, when you're dealing drugs and you're in Mexico and you've got 4 tons of cocaine and you get caught by the federales, your first rule of thumb is you let them know, hey, I'm sorry, this is mine. And you do it in a way, because they'll say, Senor, we take the drugs. And you go, well, I am so sorry, but I cannot let you do that. And you say it in a way as if your mother just died and you're revealing it, Let them know, I'm sorry. And I'm alone, I'm unarmed, I'm surrounded by men. Why? Because I know the fucking politics. I start off the conversation by going, whose are the drugs? I go, Commissioner Reynolds, because most police commissioners in third world countries deal with drugs. And so, they don't know. And I've had one guy say, well, how do you know the commissioner? I said, he's a good friend of mine. Said, prove it. I said, pull up my phone. You have to be prepared for this shit. I had the commissioner's name, brought it up and said, here, why don't you call him and tell him that you have his drugs? I would recommend it. No, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. And wave me up through. Doesn't always work like that. However,
it's all in the attitude.
It's all in the fucking attitude. So the attitude was, my goddamn cash, I want the fucking receipt. Right? So they're going, because they've never seen anything like that. An unarmed 74-year-old crickety gringo, like, this cash is mine. I mean, you need to understand it. I'll be happy to give it to you now if you give me a fucking receipt. And the next morning, what happened? Got my fucking cash back.
Janice,
so this is the life I live, unfortunately, okay? And this is the only way that we can live, given the fact that I refuse to shut the fuck up. I see horrors happening in our government, in our institutions, in our corporations, in the Fed, in every aspect of our system of government. We have corruption. You are deluded people into thinking it matters who sits in the president's office. Please God, do you realize that if the president wanted to know whether or not there were flying saucers, they are not going to fucking tell him.
He's a puppet.
He is a puppet. So we need to peel this curtain back and look at the wizard behind the curtain, people, and deal with that. Fuck the president. It doesn't fucking matter. Please God, what president has ever delivered anything? Obama delivered Obamacare. What happened?
Gone.
Next administration unfucking raveled it. Nothing.
How do you feel about the Epstein? How do you feel about the news yesterday, kind of crushing the mainstream media with Epstein, with them pushing that, under the carpet and covering it up, and now here they are, exposed ABC with their underbelly, about to take even more shots.
Yeah. So the media, fuck the media.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you, Janice.
All right. Now, here's the problem I have. Epstein was 6 feet 1 inches tall. The bunk he hung himself from was 5 feet 7 inches tall. Yeah. His cellmate was removed from his cell 6 hours before he hung himself. The CCTV cameras, oddly enough, they're all misaligned and nothing showed what happened in there. What about the guards who were supposed to have been on duty? They were told to go home early because of cleaning. Please, fucking God, people wake up. Yeah. He was blackmailing. He was blackmailing every fucking member. So now, unfortunately, he's in prison. He's in the distance. I mean, it's hard, even if you're the top boss in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party or the CIA, it is hard to fuck with the judicial system. He's in prison now. The only thing you can do is wipe him out, because that's very easy. And that was what happened, people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, it's our, as the public, as the general public, everybody counts on the media to give them the truth, and they haven't heard it in years from the media. And again, this is no offense to you. This is not a knock on you. Guys like you, the eccentric guys who come out and say, look, A, B, 3, all of these match up to this. And everybody goes, oh, this guy is so out of his fucking head. This guy's insane, because you tell a story with some flair. Or if you have a fucking adventure like you're talking about, people go, oh, this guy's nuts. Oh, this guy's crazy. And everybody goes out of their way to discredit you, except you, people like you, Mr. McAfee, are now the people telling the truth, not the media who we put there, not the media we're paying millions to.
Yes. If you look at, see, if anybody knows how fucked up our media is, it's me, because I get it all the time. Today, Forbes put out an article in which, I was it Forbes that said I unraveled, and I mentally unraveled in the jungle? Well,
Do you just have a staff member?
Maybe,
to
but
find all the
nobody
fucked up
would
shit?
know. Nobody would know but me. And who wouldn't, by the way? I mean, you've got clouds of mosquitoes so thick it turns the sky black and the sun is extinguished. You have howler monkeys that will not shut the fuck up. You've got crocodiles, predatory crocodiles, trying to eat your fucking dogs, or you, if you're stupid enough to fall asleep on the bank of the river. You've got endless heat of 110 degrees with 99% humidity. You got every fucking stinging, crawling, dangerous, poisonous creature in the world living in your thatch roof and falling on you while you're sleeping. Well, good God Almighty. And to add to this, there's no television and no fucking internet. You do that for a couple of years, my friend, and see how normal you are at the end of it.
Do you just have a staff member who goes through the media and just finds out all the fucked up articles on you that morning?
I do, and it's just astonishing. Most of them were tiny little newspaper, tiny little this, that, the other. Most total utter garbage. But even like Forbes, everything. It's fucked up.
Well, Forbes reports on pro wrestling now, so their credibility's shot at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Good point.
Yeah, let's talk one thing that you touched on. We are the Conspiracy Horsemen. We have fun with, we go deep into the child trafficking and all that, but we have the fun side with the UFO. When Snowden tried to put it over, I haven't seen anything, Joe Rogan, on UFOs. Meanwhile, we have the Tic Tac UFOs. We have naval aviators within 2 years before that showing and stooging it off. But here's a guy who's a whistleblower who's towing the line, which makes us further question, is he controlled opposition? Is this a deep fake? Is it some extra psyop where we can never know the truth?
Let me tell you something. Jesus. All right, so I have worked with black programs in the U.S. government, not for the government, with Lockheed, for example, where you get a top secret security clearance, you move to a black program. Black programs don't exist. They officially are not there. They're not in any record book. They don't fucking exist. But they're great places to work. Of money and other things. So anyway, I can promise you, and I've seen with my own eyes, flying things which can't be explained, whose purpose cannot be determined, and whose technology is unknown. But do not think that means they are extraterrestrial. Having worked on black programs, one of which did not come to light for 35 fucking years. And I'm sure there's some that don't come to light for 50. The technology that you see around you today, the technology available for study, understanding, is 25 years behind what our government has. So it would not be beyond reason to go, that thing in the sky instantly moved from here to here. Does not mean it's alien. It simply means that, good God, they may be 50 years ahead now, and this is something that we will know about in 2017.
Would that be?
Let me ask you this. Okay. Sorry, Ben, don't mean to cut you off, but that's a very valid point, and we've addressed it many times in the past on our previous shows where we see something and doesn't necessarily mean that it's the stereotypical green Martian from Mars or the grays with the big eyes, but do you personally believe that we are not the only living organism in this universe?
Well, of course. I'm a mathematician and a statistician. It is statistically impossible for us to be alone. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. We all feel the same way.
There's a finite number of chemical elements. There is a finite number of combinations of them. And there is a virtually infinite number of potential worlds that could support life. And that's only if you accept the fact that it's oxygen-based, carbon-based life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you something. What's wrong with something which is based on an entirely different pair or trio of elements?
You're right.
Think of that. I mean, we not be able to recognize it as life. It may ooze along at a half mile per year, or it may shoot like a ray of light. However, it could be thinking, feeling perhaps, certainly creating. And it's impossible for us to be alone. That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Ben.
I was going to say, we'll just keep switching on some hot ones because we only have them for a limited amount of time. We bust Sal's balls all the time because he says CERN is not responsible for the Mandela effect. Your thoughts on, mass delusion of people remembering things one way and then being another, and, this Hadron Collider doing some strange things, supposedly opening black holes to multiverses or what have you. Do you think one correlates to the other, and the messages that they've put out kind of saying so?
I don't have enough information
to
make any judgment whatsoever. We are primarily in the dark as humans in our human society today, where the things that truly matter, that could in fact change society, human evolution, freedom, joy, and happiness. Those things are unknown to us as ordinary citizens. We are in the dark about everything, not just what's going on in the Middle East, because unless you speak Farsi and Arabic and you understand the religion to its depth and know the history, culture, and political alliances, unless you know that, you have to rely on somebody else to advise you. Oh, here's what's going on, and here's what's good or bad about it. We're in the dark, people. We're blind. We're running around with our canes bumping into each other, looking for something which really is not seeable until we change the system that allows it to be hidden. This is our problem.
I agree. And the system is built that way on purpose, in my opinion, because a house divided can't stand. And us being divided as individuals, as human beings, whether we're disagreeing on red or blue, Democrat, Republican, black or white, they always keep us divided off the minuscule things so we can fight over the crumbs while the select few run away with the pie. And I couldn't even state this even greater, because we, on our show, The Conspiracy Horsemen, we call all these people who keep their head in the sand the Nancy Browns and the Jen Smiths of culture, because they don't want to question the narrative like we do, like being free thinkers. The biggest scam going right now, in my opinion, and the biggest quote-unquote conspiracy is the Federal Reserve and the way they inflate the U.S. dollar and devalue it, and the fact that our fiat currency is based on good faith and the actuality is just paper. And when you try to break this down to on layman's terms to an average individual, they look at you like you have two heads. What do you mean the Federal Reserve isn't part of our government? What do you mean our money isn't worth anything? And I try to explain it to them that it's all run by banksters, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, so on and so forth. And keeping us in debt is their main goal, because they prosper of us being in debt. And
of course, we become slaves to the financial system. We are already, even without being in debt, you have to work 3 to 4 months every fucking year. The sweat of your brow, your own labor, the fruits of your labor, they take a quarter of it, sometimes a third. And then you're supposed to survive after being enslaved for a quarter of your life. You will survive as a slave, because there is no such thing as partial slavery.
Well, like Kanye say, it was a choice.
Kanye West said slavery was a choice.
Slavery was a choice.
Okay, fair enough. But we have time for one more question. I got the signal from Jack.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen, let's talk a little bit about cryptocurrency. I know you're a front runner in crypto. So let our listeners know what you're working on right now with your own exchange that you're currently distributing.
Okay. It's a distributed exchange, and it's a decentralized exchange. We control nothing. We take nobody's money. We don't hold anybody's money. We don't ask who you are, what your email address is, where you live. We don't care what country you come from. We take no documentation. We charge nothing to list a coin, unlike upwards of $250,000 in Binance. You simply press the button at the top of our page, and you input the technical specs of the coin, and you're now listed. And we charge no listing fees. We charge no maker fees and only 0.25% of taker fees. So, and with that, we got to fund our full development. So no one's getting rich here. Why did I do this? Because we have to have this. As illegal as it may sound for me to have done it, we have to have this. A system with no KYC, with no money laundering provisions, with no control, and in which you're responsible for yourself, and which will, of course, be used by criminals, like criminals use telephones and automobiles and computers. Please God, we will never stop criminal activity. But I built it on the blockchains with smart contracts, meaning it can't ever go away. I can't ever change it. I can't ever fix it. And I certainly can't eradicate it. And on the distributed side, we have portals. We have over 20 now, which are domains, just like the McAfee.com decks. Our source is open if you want to create your own. If you don't want to go to the trouble, we'll do it for you for $395. That's it. And you're now a portal. Everything that goes through that portal is 0.05% you get on the transaction. And that motivates people to keep their portals open and have the traffic coming through. Plus, all portals have access to all books of every other portal. So it's one system, one set of records that everybody is sharing. And those records are not centrally stored in a database. No, they're on the fucking blockchain. So when the SEC and the IRS come to me and they say, you've broken the law, shut it down, I go, how? I'm sorry. There's no way to do it. And, I'll say something like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you guys wanted this information. I made a mistake, so sue me. Because arresting me is not going to stop it. You cannot ever shut this down, and you cannot ever control it. And that's what I wanted to create. In 74 years here, I've done something that is for you guys and us. Far more than they've done. More than China shutting down all of their exchanges. More than India making the possession or use or exchange of cryptocurrency illegal. No, they're going to crack down and try to shut down everybody. And this will be the last resort that can't be shut down. Because without exchanges, what are we? We have no way of transacting business.
Well, I'll tell you what, next time.
That's why I did it, and I think that was the last question.
Love it. And next time when they come for you for those records, I want Janice to roll tape so we can get some World Star footage when you go into stroke mode. I really want to see that. We need those clicks, maybe.
They have to find me first.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. McAfee, John and Janice, we appreciate you so much for giving us this shine on our platform and giving us your valuable time. Be safe and keep pushing your boundaries in the time you have, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And if I've enjoyed it. If you guys, I'm sorry we had to cut it. No. But if you guys want to do this again, this is the lady. Contact Janice and she will set you up again. If you ever
want to do any wrestling shows or be in any rap videos, we're your guys, man. Hit us up and we're happy to do it.
Fantastic. Yes. Okay.
And if you want to come on our platform when you're running for 2020 just to get the message out, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Jump on board.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Have a great one.
Take care. Be safe.
All right.
Oh, that was awesome.
Well, we can't do any more than that for you, infidels, here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen. The most high-level guest, the most high-level talk that we've ever had here. And it's because of you dedicated listeners scooping me on Twitter to the fact that they were putting out feelers for independent media. And look what you got in return by dropping that pebble in the pond. So pat yourselves on the back, Barry Horowitz style. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Go ahead, dude. I'm just wanted to thank them.
For Papa Don, this would be great for Stevie. So he was talking about, you know, the one coin situation, the one money.
Yeah.
Isn't that the sign of the Antichrist for you guys? Don't you guys throw some
Well,
holy water at
it's
him?
one money,
No,
but then
no,
it breaks
no,
down
no.
into a bunch of different, like Neo, Dio, and Rodney
This is the
James
problem.
Dio.
He's talking about Bitcoin. He's building his own exchange where they can list the Bitcoins and they're able to trade against each other like a stock exchange,
Right.
but for Bitcoin. Right now, there's Binance, and he's telling us he has a free exchange that he's starting to put up and having the coins on there. So you have Ethereum, you have Bitcoin, you have Chainlink, you have Modelo, I think I believe, Monero. You have all these other.
I was like, Modelo's a beer, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I wish I had some of that right now. But you have all these different, cryptocurrencies. And I'm not into cryptos, but lately I've been, sticking my foot in the pond and finding out more about it. I personally still think that cryptocurrency is controlled by the Federal Reserve as a psyop to switch from the U.S. dollar to a cryptocurrency that's going to be backed by them that no one knows about when the time is right and the U.S. dollar devalues. So right now we're in the MySpace stages of social media with this crypto stuff. And then what happens is when the dollar flips and it drops because, whatever goes down, whether we're not on the oil reserve, the petrol anymore, Russia, hold on.
I heard that Stevie took his booking in cryptocurrency.
He probably did. Hey,
That's why he can't be here.
He's actually fighting. He's fighting the crypto keeper this weekend.
There we go. So, but
I knew that.
that's just my conspiracy thinking that eventually the Facebook era of crypto, which is going to be some kind of crypto that no one knows about, is going to come through. Everyone's going to jump on the bandwagon. It's going to end up being backed by the Federal Reserve because it's a grand scheme of them.
Now that he's
version will be when you can just digitize it to your.
Now that he's off, and we'll stooge it right there, right on your arm. But to stooge, like I popped and tried not to pop when he was telling his awesome showdown of the Mexican cocaine story, and he called himself a gringo. I had to shut it down. I had to look down. I was like, I can't look up.
At no point do you want to be like, oh yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, we saw. Like I think that was him getting his ribs in though, dude. Like
but you know what, dude? He works the loop.
Yeah.
He does the same spot because he told the same story in a couple of interviews the last couple of weeks.
That's fine, man. But the fact
I'm just letting you know. He led the interview the same way, and he.
That's what he does.
You've never told me wrestling story twice. I've never told the Andy Dick story more than once.
You know what?
I said I've never told the Andy Dick story more than once.
Oh, dude, I popped. You know, want to hear why? What was I watching yesterday? And it came on. You guys have to watch Artie Lang on Joe Rogan.
Oh, I watched parts of it, yeah.
I watched it yesterday, and he said at one point Chris Farley was so high, on coke. He was big, going off the rails that, what's that guy, Norman
Macdonald.
Yeah, told him, you got to come here and you got to babysit Chris Farley. And Artie Lang's like, I have to babysit Chris Farley? I'm high on coke right now. So whatever, he comes in, he's watching Chris Farley. All of a sudden, Chris Farley leaves with Andy Dick to go into a bathroom. They come out 5 minutes later giggling. So Norman Rockwell, or whatever his name is, Norman McDonald goes to him, what's going on here? He goes, he just went into the bathroom with Andy Dick. If a guy goes into the bathroom with Andy Dick, it's one of two things. Either they're high, and it's the other thing. And then he looks over, he goes, well, I hope he's stoned as fuck right now. And all I thought about was big with Andy Dick.
Yeah, man. Well, luckily he had two marks for them to go in the bathroom for the other thing, but he sent me for the other thing. And you're here with the other thing. We're probably going to come back. I will be back 6:15 p.m. I know my brothers here have some stuff to do. They'll jump back in. I'll cover Project Veritas solo if I have to. We'll do AMA and just try and cover the news. Reboot here if you missed it. McAfee, maybe I'll just start the replay of this at 6:15 and then jump back in when it's time to do that live, you guys, so we can get the replay there. So appreciate everybody here that joined us. Sorry that Stevie couldn't be here, full force. I'm sure he would have had something great to add, but I think we got a great one here, guys, and thank you so much to my co-hosts.
No, thank you for having us, man. Always a pleasure, and just that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was cool. Quick question: do you guys know who Zatoichi is? That he says I look like?
No.
Zatoichi is.
It's got to be.
I think it's a character from.
Is it like a samurai or something?
It's got to be something Greek
yeah.
mythology. Oh, say. Check it out, you guys. Who knows who Zatoichi is? Hit us up at conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com. Check out the NFO podcast drop this week, Horror Junkyard. We had the watch along on Halloween, a really great time, you guys, and new shows going out to other platforms. All the locker rooms have been kick-ass this week, so catch up on the craziest wrestling news as the Saudi hostage crisis goes into bragging rights, and we'll see who is the first to fold. But it won't be us infidels, because we're here on the front lines with the biggest guests, the biggest stories, staring down your Mexican sheriff. Nobody's taking our cocaine. Yalla!
Hey, this is Stevie Richards. I'm here to tell you don't necessarily need all this equipment to get in the best shape of your life. All you need is this, a resistance band. I'm so excited to offer the 12-week resistance band training program to you, which features an interactive PDF with full overview videos, modifications, descriptions of all the exercises, scalability, no matter what fitness level or what age you are. The PDF scales the workout to you. Also, after your instant download of the PDF, you get full direct email support right from me, as well as access to a Facebook group with an awesome interactive community. I can't wait to help you take control of your fitness journey. So click on the link below, click on the link in my profile, or just put in StevieRichardsFitness.com, go to the store, and download the 12-week resistance band training program.